Welcome to me moving over from Snapchat to YouTube. Now, this is something I do on Snapchat a lot. I get on there and I talk about what motivates me. I talk about, overall what I'm grateful for. And I'm moving over to YouTube because the podcast is just the first stepping stone of rebranding to the militia, which is showing our personalities. This is a great way. It's just some short clips of me talking about, where I'm at, what everything's going on in the shop, and how I'm feeling. Today is an amazing day. Today was a great day. I am super happy today. Why? I worked an 8-hour shift overtime. That's not why I'm happy. Don't think I love my job. But it was man, you ever walk into the shop or walk into your house or walk somewhere and it just hits you like, dog, you've been grinding. You've been making this happen. You put in the long hours. You've had the right idea moving forward. These small efforts you put in turn into a compounding thing. That's kind of what it was. I had to rearrange the shop because I had to put the Z on the lift because I need to prep for the South Carolina event. And, I was like, I'm going to throw the fenders on the other Kooky in the background I'm building for my 2026 build. And I was like, I just need to reorganize everything, make the shop look a little bit cleaner because I was going to pull the valve covers off my other S14 because they have welded fittings on. And then I was going to put them on this. Change my mind on that. That's irrelevant. But I was just working in a clean shop is something different anyways. Gives you that, the endorphins of just, I can actually move around. I know where everything is. It's super good time. But what I'm really talking about is I laid the fenders on the Kooky and I was like, man, I'm excited. I'm working on the Z. Thought I had a bent tie rod because I got to fix all the little stuff because it's a drift initial. But I thought I had a bent tie rod. Turns out I didn't. The alignment's just off because I bent the tie rod and I never had it aligned, which is great. Less work. But I was like, all right, I need to get the other Kooky in here because I need to pull, like I said, the valve covers, which I'm not going to. And this car, for y'all that do know me, y'all know how important this car is. This was my first car. I love this car with everything. This is my dream car. This is the reason why I'm building my 2026 car. But I love this car. I do not drive it. Why? It was 800 horsepower. It was a single turbo LS. I was like, that's too much for me, especially having a kid and not having a cage and being on the street. I don't like that. So I put it back down to stock. It's just not stock. It's a street car now. It is a built 5.7 that pulled out of my dad's car a while back ago. It's coilovers, angle kit, and all that. It's not a drift car, but it's just like, this is when I was a kid, right? This is what I wanted as a kid. And it has not started in over a year. I started it today, drove it into the shop, and everything that I have ever wanted is here. Like when you look back at it when you're 16, if you guys have kept your first car, you kind of know what I'm talking about. But if you haven't, kind of give you what it is. I've sat in that seat when I was 16 years old. Whenever I was working jobs, I've delivering documents and stuff like that. I was working at Discount Tire. I dreamed of having not everything I have right now, but just dreaming to be able to have a lift, to be able to have a trailer, to be able to drift, to be able to build a car that at the time, I've surpassed what I thought I could build, but at the time to build something cool was like such a pipe dream for me, and it wasn't really until I started getting older and I started making the little progresses. I put my head to the ground. I said, I'm gonna figure out how I'm gonna succeed in life, not just physically, not career, not educationally, but mentally. I'm gonna put myself in the right headspace. Today was one of those reassurances that I have made it. And that's where a lot of people don't like me because there's humbleness, right, that we all have to have, but there's also, recognition of where you've gotten. Man, I have grinded these past years so hard to get to the point where I'm at. And today was one of those days where all the emotions, all the endorphins are running, but all the emotions just hit you at one time. I'm sitting in the car that was 16 years old. Didn't have AC, RB20, broke down 24/7. I'm still driving to work as a 16-year-old kid. It's 110 outside in Oklahoma, and I've got no AC, but in my mind, I'm like, one day I'm gonna have this car be everything I've ever wanted. And today, granted, I don't drive this car. It needs alignment, needs a tune, to be dial-less, but it's been sitting for a year. I started up, I got in it, I got that feeling of pulling it into the shop and then looking in the shop and be like, wow, there's my flagship car where I sat down and I said, I'm gonna do everything I can. There it is. And I look over there's my next car that I said I'm gonna do. Everything that I said I'm gonna do and I carried it out, man, that emotion. It's just something about that emotion that just takes you over and you're like, I am super grateful for everything that I've ever been able to achieve. You know, the people that have came in my life that have helped me to that point, even if maybe they're not here anymore, they've still, I guess, boosted me up, you know, gave me the confidence that I could succeed. You know, I've been a very, very fortunate situation, you know, whether it's not being able to just rely on one car, having multiple cars to get to work, whether it be my pops coming in and helping me out, you know, it's just, I am very grateful to how I've gotten to where I've gotten. And like today, it's solidified it, man. Just hearing that car start, driving into the shop, getting emotional right now, thinking about it. But today is a good day. You know, and as we get an adults, you know, we don't really have great days all the time. We can't really focus on them. And it's rare that you can catch it in the moment. You know, you can catch it and be like, today is a great day. Today is an absolute wonderful day. It's been a banger of a week. I picked up a trailer for an enclose. I bought everything I needed for the next drift event, which is in South Carolina. I got this car on the lift. I'm pretty much dialed in now. I just gotta get alignment and fix the hydro, and I got a bunch of little body work to do and stuff like that. But today was a great day. Count your wins, count your blessings. I'm glad you guys stuck around for this short video. If it's too cringe for you, I'm sorry. If you don't wanna enjoy it because, you know, you don't want to see this personality of Drift Militia, well, this is what we have to come. This is me opening up, showing you my personality, and dude, I'm living life. Just look at that thing. I've had it forever. I've had it for 15 years. And it just started up, drove in the shop, and then next to all the other things I've been doing, life is great. Y'all, count your wins, count your blessings, and let's look forward to the next day because as always, we're just here to party.